Hi guys, Jennifer Scrapping Cane here. Excuse my voice. I'm still fighting my cold. And anyways, let's get started with the layout. I forgot to show the papers and the embellishments that I planned on using for this layout. I thought it was recording and it wasn't. I also painted the chipboard piece that I'm going to use behind the photo as an embellishment. And that also is not included in the filming because my video was not recording. So here I'm doing an 11 by 8.5 layout. I am going to turn it landscape here in a minute, putting it together. I usually put it together portrait just because it's easier to line it up. So I get that glued down, and then I used two papers for that. The peach colored paper I tore, and then I inked up the edges of it as I do on most of my layouts. And then the blue stripe paper is one of my favorites in this collection, and I use that at the top and the bottom. So I'm adding a piece at the bottom. I inked up the edges, and I'm adding a border strip that has all the colors on it, and I inked up the edge of that. So I'm going to add that, and then I'll add the photo, the chipboard piece I start gluing down here with liquid glue, and then I will add my photo on top of the gate. I don't cut it apart or anything like that. The chipboard pieces are made in-house and they're fairly thin. They're not super thin, but they're not very thick. So they're easy to cut apart or use in any way you really want to use them. So I chose to leave it as a whole, and I'm just going to glue it down right here and then add embellishments around it. And this is a fairly simple layout. Besides the paper tearing and the inking up, I think, is what adds the extra details to it. But for the most part, it's just adding a couple embellishments here or there, painting the chipboard piece, and attaching it down. The photo is a Snapchat photo of my youngest son and I at the zoo. Not that you can tell we're at the zoo, but that's where we were. And I always think it's funny that Snapchat makes his eyes look very girly. And he thinks it's funny too, but he has very pretty eyes to begin with. So here I'm adding the laser cut ribbon down, and then I add a heart on top of that I backed with the teal paper, and I add life is good, a little label right there on the picture. These tickets I cut and tore and inked up, and I'm going to layer them in 3, and then I will lay them on the side of my photo. And I'm going to place the photo right in the middle of the chipboard gate. I painted the chipboard gate with black acrylic paint and shimmers paint in black. It comes out very shimmery looking, but if you put the shimmer paint on top of the chipboard without adding acrylic paint or gesso, the shimmer will only shine on the top, so it'll still look brown. It wouldn't look black if I used just the shimmers paints. And that's because the shimmers paints are very water-based. Excuse me. Um, I'm going to add some laser cut flowers over here to the left hand side and a leaf that's also from the laser cut sheet. And then I'll add the butterfly at the top, the pink, that one that I have in my hand now. I'm going to add that at the top. Also, I add a little bit of play foam behind the wings, and then I'll glue the body down to the page. And that's so it looks like the butterfly is flying, or it gives it a little bit of dimension. And then I will do the same thing with the green one. I kind of place him around trying to figure out where I'm going to put him. I end up adding him at the bottom left side. And at first I was going to use the life is good as my title, and then I decided to pull that little U that you see there. It's blue, and it was on the laser sheet. And then I brought in these foam thickers from my stash that are just black. And so I'm going to put me and you as my title. And I was going to put it at the top, but it didn't really look right. So I just decided it would go at the bottom, and it looks better at the bottom because the U was not going to show up on the blue on blue. So I think that's pretty much it that I do to this layout. I do add sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and those were also from my stash. They're actually no longer available, the ones that I use. I don't remember the name of them. But she has lots of mixes that would match pretty much any collection if you go look on her website. And you can use my discount as I'm on her design team also, and it's Jennifer15 is the code. And you get 15% off. So here I'm tracing around the letters U, and I just go around with a Sharpie marker and outline the U to make it pop a little bit more. And I believe I do add like little stitch marks, and that's just something I do to make it look more bold and to make it look like, in case I messed up anywhere, it doesn't look like I messed up. It looks like I intentionally did it. And then I'll add a few little stitches around the layout in different spots. That just gives it a little bit of character. In the sequence, when I add them as butterfly trails. I believe I add them on screen. I think I'm looking for a sequence that match. Oh, yep, here they are. And these are like a teal peach. They match perfectly. And I just go on the trails every other color. So I do a peach and then I do a teal. Then I do a peach, then I do a teal. And I do that for all three of the butterflies. The two I added and the one that was on the paper already. And then I think that's it. And this is my third DT for the Tres Jolie this month. I will have a couple more layouts using this kit, the scrapbooking kit, with the Easter pictures that I plan on doing, and using the bunny stamps and showing you how I can change this kit into being an Easter theme just by adding the stamping to it. It's going to change it. I think it's perfect for Easter with all the flowers and the pretty colors. So I'm going to add the sequence and then I will be done. And there's a few close-ups here at the end. And hopefully you'll join me later in the month to see the couple of bonus layouts that I created. I will have at least two, maybe one more if I find another picture that matches. This picture I actually didn't show in the video when I showed the kits. I found this one later on and decided that it matched perfectly. I had to use it for this kit. So if you like what you see, subscribe and come back and see the other layouts that I post. I should have a few more this week and more to come in the month. Thank you guys. Bye.